Welcome to our very first inaugural Node Owners Update Zoom. Of course, we do a lot of Zooms on a regular basis for the community, but we listened to you. We had some recommendations that the first Monday of every month should be about the community. That's why I actually love starting with that video, because that video to me encompasses everything that Trusted Smart Chain and the node operators are all about. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your belief. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with you this evening. We know that our node operators are not always available to get on every single call. We do calls, five Zooms, 5 times a week. We do update calls. Typically, this call is our affiliate update and training call that we do every Monday. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, we are doing Trusted Smart Chain overviews just to continue to educate and inform people about our ecosystem, about Trusted Smart Chain, becoming a node operator, and what separates us from everybody else in this industry. In addition to that, we hold 2 Breakfast Club calls where I want to invite each and every one of you to come and join us. Those are on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For those of you that attend the Breakfast Club on a regular basis in the chat, let me hear from you. Do you guys get a lot of value on being on those Zooms on a regular basis? It's a great opportunity to be able to come together, to build community, to educate. And that's also where we do a lot of updating as well. But we do understand that not everybody can get on these Zooms. And so this call tonight is for those that have the opportunity to be able to plug in once a month and just want to get a recap, want to get an update, want to find out what is the latest and greatest that's happening here at Trusted Smart Chain. So with that, once again, I want to say welcome. It's been a remarkable year, although we're going to be talking largely tonight about the last 30 days because so much has happened during that period of time. I can't help but just reflect back on the progress that we've made collectively together. I go all the way back to March 29th, and I think about that event in California. Some of you were there. How many of you, just by show of hands, were at that first event where we had the genesis of our blockchain? That was a special event, and I have to tell you, thinking back to that time and just thinking about how surreal it was as we brought those nodes online, we actually did a countdown and it was a pretty special event. But just to now look back and think everything that we've accomplished since then is just so remarkable. So on March 29th of this year, we activated our node network. And that is when our community of node operators started receiving daily digital rewards for operating software nodes. And at the time, these were in the form of points. They weren't Trusted Smart Chain tokens yet, so some of you will remember that. Daily digital rewards for operating software nodes that support the Trusted Smart Chain's infrastructure. And of course, this was not just theory, it was not just a promise, it was the real thing. And since then, we've brought our community together at events across the United States and even in Mexico. Guys, we've had 8 total events this year in the first year, and I want to talk about that for just a moment. So when Matt, Billy, myself, Quincy, we came together in early January, late December and early January, and we started discussing what we wanted the community to feel like, to look like, what the culture would be like. The Trusted Smart Chain Belief Building Initiative was at the forefront of that conversation. The idea was that there's not a lot of transparency in this industry. There's not a lot of trust in this industry. And many of us have been through some challenges that have left us mistrusting. And so it was really important to us that we have these events on a regular basis. And the idea was a minimum of at least every 90 days, we have an opportunity for our node operators to come together and to be able to not only meet us, to be able to see our beautiful offices in Irvine, California, but to have an opportunity to be able to even meet the real world asset managers, to be able to hear why they're tokenizing, why they're choosing Trusted Smart Chain, so that they could be a part of the process every step of the way. And to me, that's part of building community. That's part of building culture. And at the heart of our culture is trust and transparency. And since then, we didn't just have 4 events, one every quarter. We've had 8 total events. In fact, we've had events at real world asset sites like in Oklahoma. We've been down to Tulum. How many of you guys loved that Tulum trip and are looking forward to our annual Node Owners event again next year? So we had an opportunity to go down to Tulum, spend time listening to several of the real world asset managers, hearing why they're tokenizing these beautiful hotels down in Tulum. And so, of course, all of this was about educating the members of the Trusted Society. We, of course, flipped that switch from testnet to mainnet. which was an exciting time for us, which again was history because we began writing our very first blocks on the Trusted Smart Chain. And I was looking today, and there's some 8,500 blocks now that have been written, and I couldn't help but just smile as I watched that history in the making. Shortly after our validators came online, the Trusted Smart Chain token started distributing out as opposed to points, and those points started converting over to Trusted Smart Chain. To date now, and I think that this deserves a round of applause to each and every one of you guys. We have now a total of approximately 26,000 nodes online. 26,000 active nodes supporting the Trusted Smart Chain blockchain. And that's largely because each and every one of you, because of your belief, because of your conviction, because of your willingness to go out and share this with the people that you love and care about most. And so, you know what? First and foremost, we want to give you just a huge round of applause for what we've been able to accomplish, what you've been able to accomplish up to this point. Of course, with every new node that comes online, that provides more infrastructure. It allows us to be stronger, to be more secure. It also allows us to ultimately continue to focus on bringing more real-world assets onto the Trusted Smart Chain blockchain. Again, every daily reward is now paid directly in the Trusted Smart Chain token. If you, from the time that you've activated your node, have received a Trusted Smart Chain deposit into your wallet every single day, I want you to drop your favorite emoji into the chat. I want to see some fire in the chat below. If you've received a deposit every single day, that is the commitment that takes place from us to you, from the smart contract to you, because that's essentially who's paying you is the software every single day, those daily digital rewards, right? It's a major milestone. Everything that we've been building up to this point to make those tokens available on exchanges for those new to crypto, a listing simply means that the token becomes tradable on an exchange. And most recently, we have now been listed as an asset on the T7X beta platform, and we are trading. There are buys and sells that are happening every single day. So guys, we've come a long way. Tokenization of real world assets, we all know it's not new. It's been around for years. But what TSC is doing is providing a safe and a compliant and a regulatory pathway forward. Every real world asset that comes onto this chain is expected to file a proper registration and to be registered with the SEC. And this level of oversight and accountability addresses some of the biggest problems in tokenization. This morning, Ron Gallegos sent me this fantastic article that was on Cointelegraph about, I mean, it was like we could have written it ourselves, the way that it was written, talking about everything that we've been talking about for the better part of this year, about the challenges and the lack of transparency, especially as it pertains to tokenizing real world assets, that there's nothing that's really there that's binding these physical assets to these digital assets. And there's so much room for these companies to take liberties to use the term backed by freely without having to prove it. And everything that we are doing here at Trusted Smart Chain is aimed at solving those problems. And so we sent that email out today just as a further testament to show and demonstrate that we are on the right path. And we're not just on the right path, we are actually paving it as we move forward. And we are holding that torch for others to follow as we continue to march towards trust and transparency in this space. So we're building trust and transparency. And what this does is it attracts this new demographic of crypto enthusiasts into the blockchain space. Many of you guys are here today. If you were new to crypto before you heard about Trusted Smart Chain, I want to write new into the chat. I'm curious, how many people were new to crypto when they first heard about this particular project? Quite a few of you guys, right? New. Ricky and Joanne were new. How many of you, the first time that you attended one of our presentations, your eyes actually crossed, just out of curiosity, and you had to listen to it a few times before you knew what we were talking about? You can see how many people are new. And what's exciting to me is not just how many node operators that we have online. What's exciting to me is the level of growth that we've seen from our community. People that were new when they first came in that are having competent conversations about cryptocurrency. They're talking about their digital wallets. They're talking about sending money on chain, and they're talking about decentralization as if they have been around it for years. And that to me is what excites me the most. Eyes crossed. I love it. Learning along the way. We all are. We all have been in that same exact position before. But here's the thing, as this new demographic of crypto enthusiasts comes into the blockchain space, these are people that value regulatory clarity and utility. They value those type of driven ecosystems. And with every asset that joins the ecosystem, utilizing the Trusted Smart Chain, this compliance-driven approach creates real and lasting utility. Now, why does that matter so much? Because many projects in this space are built on hype. We've talked about that a lot. We've been laying the infrastructure. We have been taking the long view. Every single step from activating those nodes to moving to mainnet to validator launch to distributing the rewards has been deliberate. And we have not taken any shortcuts. This wasn't about building something overnight. It was about building something to last. And the steady march has set the stage for what is next. Guys, utility is not created overnight. Utility is associated with longevity, and it takes patience, and it takes a real plan. And that is why TSC stands out in the marketplace in a noisy industry. So this year has already been incredible, but it feels like we're truly still just getting started. And I can tell you guys that November is going to be a very special month. The closeout of the final quarter of 2025 is going to be monumental for Trusted Smart Chain. And I will tell you this, hype fades, but utility lasts, and we're building for the long haul. And that is what we are all about. There's a lot of things that are happening every month. And again, we realize that you can't plug into every call. So this is designed for those who can't be on those calls. And we're going to go ahead and give you a recap of what's happened in the last 30 days. Now, before I get into that, I want to just touch on the role of a node operator for a moment, because I want to make sure that everybody understands that role. When somebody becomes a node operator, they're not buying an investment. We've talked a lot about that. They're not buying an investment. They're purchasing software, which is a license that allows them to help run and secure the Trusted Smart Chain network. So think of it like owning a piece of the internet's plumbing, right? Every time data moves, websites load, or assets are exchanged, it all flows through infrastructure. And in the same way, every time an asset is tokenized, verified, or transacted on the Trusted Smart Chain, that activity runs through your nodes, through your infrastructure, because of you. Nodes are what make decentralization possible. Instead of relying on a single company or a centralized server, the blockchain is powered collectively by thousands of independent node operators that are all over the world. This ensures transparency. This ensures security. And it really ensures true ownership by the people. So as a node operator, you're helping keep the blockchain online. You're helping keep it verified and operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're part of the backbone that gives these companies, these real world assets, these tokenized projects, the confidence to build on the Trusted Smart Chain Foundation. And at the heart of it all is the trusted society, our education, and our community. And we have reinforced this over and over again at ProsperLink. We focus on three areas, three things, right? Number one, Steve, you know it, meaningful purpose in the marketplace. He said it first in Irvine. So yes, Steve, I'm giving you credit. Number two, real world utility, right? Meaningful purpose, why this technology exists and how it empowers people, not necessarily the institutions. Real world utility is number two, how tokenization connects the physical assets to digital infrastructure, and it creates value through use, not hype. And then number three, supply and demand. This timeless principle that drives value in everything. If you look at Bitcoin, that is the magic formula. It's utility, meaningful purpose in the marketplace, supply and demand. And of course, now in exchange for helping secure and process that activity, the software issues you daily rewards automatically. Not based on speculation, not based on hype, but based on function. And I shared this point today on one of the founder Zooms. I was on with Tom a little earlier, and I want to reinforce this point to each and every one of you just to put an emphasis on the power of decentralization. We don't pay your rewards to you. Trusted Smart Chain, or more specifically, ProsperLink, is not paying the rewards to you. Quincy and her amazing operations team is not sitting there every day saying, okay, we've got to make sure that we've got to get these digital rewards out to Ron or out to Rob or out to Charles, or that's not what's happening. There's no spreadsheet mining that's going on here where we are in charge or in control of this. You guys realize that that's all happening by the software. That's all happening by smart contract. The smart contract is distributing your tokens every single day. ProsperLink goes out of business tomorrow. The smart contract is still distributing your tokens. This has all been reinforced by a smart contract, and that's what true decentralization is all about. This is not built on hype, but based on function. That's the beauty of it. It's not a promise, it's performance. So with that, let's go ahead and get into, well, actually, before we do, since we talked a little bit about operations, let's go over to our head of support for just a moment. But before we do, I would like for you guys to show your appreciation for Quincy and the amount of work and effort that she and her team put into this community. Quincy works, no kidding you, 14 hours a day, and she is truly one of the hardest workers that I've ever met before. And she is a key reason why the experience is the way that it is here at Trusted Smart Chain, and why at every touch point within our ecosystem reinforces belief. And so with that, Quincy Beach, I know you've got some updates for us. Hop on in here. Oh, I might have to unmute her real quickly. Maybe make you a co-host, Quincy. Hang on. Let me find you. Raise your hand for me. There's a lot of people on here. Give me 1 second to get Quincy up on here. I'm looking for you.
She has her hand raised.
Oh, she does. Steve, if you can do it, go ahead and unmute her for me. Oh, there she is. Okay. I found her. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. Miss Quincy Beach, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everybody. This just makes my entire day. I'm so happy that we get to have one of these amazing calls and do our node operator update. Travis, you are absolutely excelling in this call today. I'm so excited about everything that we get to share, and we have achieved some amazing milestones along the way. And thank you all for the love and the support and acknowledging where we've come and where we're at. And we have so much further to go. It's so exciting. So thus far, things have been absolutely phenomenal. The team is doing great things, but who else is doing great things are you guys as the affiliates and the node operators. So all of the affiliates have done an exceptional job thus far of sharing this opportunity, staying in compliance, and doing it with the best foot forward, and really having the intention of, like Chris says, paying it forward. So I just want to take the first couple of seconds here to say thank you all for everything that you do and everything that you contribute. We have had some exciting updates just in the last week. We will be implementing an earnings report into your back office, which is very exciting. You'll be able to track and see all of your commissions from those reported weeks. Commissionable weeks start on a Saturday, they end on a Friday. And sometimes it gets a little confusing of when will I be paid and what's going on. So we've added that additional report into the back office so that you'll have the ability to be able to go in and check on your commissions and see when they're coming up. So you will no longer be receiving an email from our compliance department with your upcoming commission report. You'll be able to check on that as soon as those are uploaded. So keep an eye on them. They will fluctuate on the days of uploading, but we are going to work on getting a standard schedule in place so that we make sure that comes into play for you. But if you'd like to go check it out, the most recent one has been updated. Simply go to your back office on the tools side of your dashboard. Just click on earnings report and you'll be able to go in and see what sales that you've had and what commissions you can anticipate for the next coming week. And they're still paid in the same way. So however you chose to receive those, they'll still be paid out the same way as usual. But that is the new most exciting update. I still encourage all of you to continue to share this opportunity with everyone. As you can see, we've been growing, we've been accomplishing, and quite frankly, I'm going to say it, we've been kicking ass. So I want everybody to continue to do so and keep sharing this with others because, you know, as he said, Chris has said it time and time again, paying it forward, sharing this opportunity, letting everybody else know what we're doing, and that we do come from a place of trust and transparency all the time, and we lead with our hearts, which I think is the most important thing in this entire ecosystem. Travis every single day gets on here ready to share and you know, lead from a place of real trust and transparency and kindness, and I think that really shows within our community. I think if you guys have been here for even a short time or a long time, you can tell the difference between what we do and what everyone else does. So I'm very, very grateful to be here. Thank you guys so much for all of your participation. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I love hearing from every single one of you. It makes my whole day, and it makes those 14 hours every single day so worth it. So thank you, everyone. And Travis, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Quincy. Appreciate it. Great updates. All right, so let's go to the first. One of the first announcements that took place in October was we officially launched our Blockchain Explorer. And this is a huge deal. If you guys take a look here, you've got your dashboard. You can go in, you can see the transactions. And what's really neat here is you can go in and see that there's been 8,300 transactions on our blockchain. It tells you when the last transaction took place. I can click on this transaction. I can open it up, and you can see the details. It shows you the transaction hash, which is essentially like a transaction receipt, if you will. It tells you the block number. It tells you how many blocks have been written. You can see the value. You can see which address that it came from, which address that it went to. So it gives you all the details of the block and the blockchain. We could go through here, and I won't go through all of the details on here. We're going to pull this back up here in just a few minutes when we pull up staking. But I do want to talk just for a moment about the significance of this blockchain for a moment, because, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. And the way that I look at a blockchain is I look at it kind of like a heartbeat monitor. Every real blockchain has a heartbeat monitor, and that is the Explorer. It's like the EKG at a hospital. You can see if the patient is alive. You can measure if it's functioning. Our blockchain just switched that monitor on this month, and that's what's such a big deal about it. And it's beating strong. And what the Explorer actually is, for anybody that's new, let me just simplify this. The Explorer is a public window into the blockchain. You can see blocks being produced, transactions that are actually moving. You can validators at work in real time. It takes something that was invincible and it makes it visible to the world. And why that matters? Because critics and cynics doubted us at every stage. When we launched the Node network, they questioned it. When digital point rewards started and went live, they said it wasn't real. When we moved from testnet to mainnet, testnet to mainnet, they said it would never happen. When validators went live, they claimed, I don't know if it's real. And even when points converted into real tokens and started moving wallet to wallet, they still acted like, I don't know if this is just, I just don't know. But here's the difference. You can't argue with what's on chain. The Explorer silences the noise because proof is public. Anyone, anywhere can log in. They don't even need to log in. They can go to the website and they can see the data. The historical context, every credible blockchain had this exact milestone moment. Ethereum had it with Etherscan. Binance had it with BSC Scan. And once their explorers went live, the market knew that they were real infrastructure. And that's when credibility is solidified. And now it's Trusted Smart Chain's moment. Why this is such a turning point and such a big announcement for us in the month of October is this launch marks the shift from, hey, we're building, to listen, we've built. It proves we're not theory, that we're not promises, that we're a living, breathing, thriving blockchain functioning in full view of the world. And this is what separates serious projects from hype. And what it means for you is you're still an early adopter. This validates your vision. You saw it before everybody else. Those still watching, this is your sign. The Explorer is proof of life. And Trusted Smart Chain is infrastructure, not just speculation. And I'm just going to tell you guys, wait until you see what continues to come next. We've just proven that the heart is now beating. Now it's about building the body of an ecosystem around it. The Explorer is not the end. It's truly just the beginning. So very excited about the blockchain coming out, blockchain being alive. Now, I want to go on and I want to talk about one of the next things that was one of the more exciting things that happened in the month of October, which was our trip to Washington, D.C. We had a chance to go to Washington, D.C. for a moment. And before I do a little recap, I'm going to play a little video for you so that you guys can just see firsthand just how amazing this really was.
Very fitting that we're here right in front of the White House, Washington, D.C. We're here at Impact 25, and we're here with a bunch of congressmen, a lot of lawmakers, and the topic of conversation is legislation as it pertains to cryptocurrency and blockchain. You know, the world is changing so quickly. The world of finance is evolving, and we're seeing so many more companies now that are moving from the traditional finance sector over to blockchain, especially when it comes to raising capital. And right at the heart of that is Trusted Smart Chain. We are the bridge. We're bridging that gap between high valued assets and tokenization. And what we have created is a universally accepted framework, a regulatory framework for tokenizing real world assets. So very proud to be here in Washington, D.C., participating in the next wave, if you will, the next era of capital, finance, and blockchain all coming together.
We got a lot of great footage at this particular event. Still a lot to come that you guys haven't seen yet. We've been slowly releasing the videos. Hopefully you guys like the little 1 to 2 minute clips that we've been putting out on a regular basis. So earlier this month, last month, I should say, we had the incredible opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. for an event hosted by the Internet Marketing Association, which happens to be one of the largest and most respected networking organizations in the entire country. And the setting could not have been more fitting. We were at the Hayes Hotel, which, if you could see right over my shoulder, was the White House. And this event brought together some of the most influential minds in business, technology, and policy. We had a chance to connect with lawmakers, with senators, congressmen, even the Speaker of the House. And one of the main topics of discussion throughout the entire evening was compliance and regulation as it pertains to cryptocurrency. Something that, as you know, is at the core of what we are building and what we're focused on. And it was a powerful reminder that what we're doing isn't just innovative, it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. The industry is evolving, and regulators and institutions and leaders are paying attention to the projects that are now paving the way responsibly. And the highlight, of course, of this entire event was we were recognized as Blockchain of the Year in Washington, D.C. And this was a huge honor. This wasn't just about technology, it was about leadership, it was about community, it was about innovation and integrity in a space that desperately needs all of the above. And it was such an honor to be a part of that moment, to see our mission acknowledged on a national stage and to know that Trusted Smart Chain is being seen for what truly is a blockchain that's built on trust and built on transparency and built on compliance. And if you didn't get a chance, I'm going to play a video of Matt Nicosia speaking at this particular event, because one of the things that I admire about Matt, he's not always out front. He's working tirelessly behind the scenes, and he is absolutely brilliant. Whenever we get on calls with real world assets or sometimes a skeptic, that's one of my favorites. And Matt starts talking at a level that very few can. It's impressive. And to watch Matt go up on that stage and to have the caliber of individuals that were sitting in that audience there, and then to have him just start speaking and everybody stop and just listening to his words. He says a lot here in just a couple of minutes. This is a 2-minute clip to give you an idea of just the strength that Matt, our visionary, brings to this community.
Now, what are real-world assets? Real-world assets are technically anything physical or that we can bind legally, whether it be intellectual property or so forth. But how do you merge that with digital world? Well, until you've got law that allows for a recognition of ownership to be digitally, like Wyoming does, and like Ohio does for car titles, we're still in this world of what can really be tied to a digital asset. So what the ideology, what we're doing is looking for assets that we can, by Wyoming law right now, until federal, state, and other states recognize it, tie that digital ownership to that physical asset. And I believe it's imperative for capital growth in America, imperative for true value to be created for entrepreneurs, and ultimately protection for the investors. How many of us have invested in private placements or private companies? If you raise your hand, in this group, probably most. There is an alternative, but it needs to be with truth and transparency. How do you now allow for truth and transparency to protect the consumer, the investor, but also the entrepreneur, the business builder? And it's not going to be a world where an entrepreneur can just put up a blockchain, put up a meme, hoo-hoo, make money and raise it and it goes away. That's not going to work. There's going to have to be some accountability to the blockchain world, but also that transparency is going to protect the worldwide investor with that transparency, but ownership done on a blockchain level. And that's extremely important for real world assets. Well, I got this real world asset. I can tokenize it, buy this coin for this real estate property. Where's the legal enforcement of that blockchain smart contract to the physical world? There's a long way to go. Few places can do them, Ohio, Wyoming, but that is a huge barrier that needs to be dealt with, not only from the entrepreneur standpoint, but also from a legislative standpoint.
All right, let's give it up for Matt. And Speaking of Wyoming, since Matt brought it up, let's go ahead and go right over to here for a moment. There's been some question about whether or not we really are registered in Wyoming. So let's go ahead and make sure that that's real clear. Here's our Wyoming registration right here, NOVA DAO, which is our LLC, and we operate as an LLC for a number of different reasons. Not only protects the company, protects you guys as node operators as well. We're going to be going more in depth into that in some of our future presentations. But did want everyone to see that we're in good standing. You can see that we are registered as a LLC here in Wyoming. So let's go ahead and pull that up here now. Let's keep the ball rolling here. So we went, Washington was 4 days. It was very intense, a lot of meetings, a lot going on, but it was also very, very rewarding. Flew home. I was home for 24 hours, and then we went out to California next. And we went to an event called Cars and Copters in Huntington Beach, California. And, this we had the opportunity to participate in one of Southern California's most unique, and I would have to say high-profile charity events. Cars and Copters in Huntington Beach. It's a fundraiser that was organized to support both the local police department and the surrounding community. And it brought together just this amazing group of this, first of all, collection of supercars and hypercars. If you don't know the difference, hypercars are worth millions upon millions of dollars. There were vehicles that were there that were worth $5, $6, $7 million. Helicopters. The first day was all about the helicopters. We had the privilege of hosting the VIP party, which gave us a great platform to build awareness for Trusted Smart Chain and connect with some very influential people in attendance. Now, unfortunately, during the event, as many of you know, one of the helicopters went down in a tragic accident. And it was a sobering moment for everybody that was there. I was literally standing next to the pilot's mother and father when the pilot went down. And we were incredibly grateful that all of the parties survived and have since made a full recovery. They're still on their way to recovery, but they're going to be okay. And so we were extremely grateful about that. But to be there in that moment, I will tell you, was probably one of the more surreal things that I've ever witnessed personally. For a while, it was unclear whether the event would continue, but by the next morning, things moved forward when they knew that everybody was going to be okay. And we were really proud to serve as hosts of the event itself and the VIP tent. Our team showed up just in such a remarkable way. Jess, Jason, and I hate saying, Steve and Tom and Gary, and I mean, I start saying names and I get worried I'm going to forget somebody, but just the whole team, everybody that showed up there. It was some of our top producers and community leaders representing Trusted Smart Chain. There were literally over 30,000 people that were supposed to attend, and I would say that there was probably another 20,000 outside the venue that couldn't get inside. They literally shut down the entire PCH. And I think that our booth quickly became one of the most popular stops at the entire event. And I have to say that the Make Crypto Great Again hats, they were like the most coveted prize at the entire event, weren't they, Steve? Like, everybody wanted one of those hats. They were a huge hit, and our presence sparked hundreds of conversations about blockchain, about compliance, about tokenization. The brand exposure from this event was absolutely massive, between in-person interactions, media coverage, and social engagement, social media engagement afterwards. The awareness that we generated, it's sometimes difficult to measure, but the impact was undeniable. We've had tens of thousands of views between stories and reels. And to me, we also sold hundreds of nodes over that weekend and made countless new connections. And more importantly, we showed up once again. We showed again that Trusted Smart Chain is not just another crypto project, that we're a credible, visible, and trusted name in the blockchain space. And so I'm going to show just a real quick little video here, just to give you a little recap of that particular weekend. And then we'll keep the ball rolling here.
Hey guys, we're here at Cars and Copters. Trusted Smart Chain is well represented. Trusted Smart Chain is a blockchain that bridges the gap between high-valued assets and tokenization. And we are leading the pathway, providing a regulatory and compliant pathway forward for high-valued assets to tokenize and raise capital.
5 nodes valued at $15,000 to support this organization. We feel privileged to support both the police and the community. We're going to make crypto great again. Come on, doesn't that just fire you up? One of the cool things we were able to do is we donated 5 nodes to the charity because we wanted to give them something that would continue to support their charity over the many years to come. And that was one of the ways that we did it. So that was really a fun event all the way around. Had some great exposure as well. All right, so let's keep the ball rolling here. One of the next things that that happened in the month of October that was a significant deal is, as you guys know, the Trusted Smart Chain token is now an asset that is listed on the T7X platform, digital beta platform, and it is now trading, and it's been trading somewhere in the neighborhood. It came out at about $35, and within a couple of days it went up, and it's been trading in the 40s and 50s. And keep in mind, this is early, and ultimately you guys are the ones that dictate the value. You guys are the ones that, even the community itself, one of the cool things that came out of this particular month as well is we have nominated Donnie as our head of the listing and exchange committee. You guys did a vote on that, and unanimously you brought Donnie in, and Donnie's been working really hard to make this happen. And I know that he's got a lot more in the works that he'll be updating us on soon. But you can see here that the Trusted Smart Chain token is live. Buys and sells are happening every single day. And this was another huge milestone for the month of October. Does that fire you guys up? Just out of curiosity, how many of you guys got fired up when you saw that actual token value? And of course, the community, you guys control the price. At the end of the day, it's all about you guys. When you guys decide when to buy and sell. But we've got a token price now, and we're going to continue to see great things that are coming from that here as we move forward. Let's talk a little bit more about that governance and action for a moment. One of the things that's really important about the DAO is that it's run by the community, by its members. And we've now issued our governance, and we've issued our vote. And as you guys can see here, this was a governance proposal that went out, and 8,383 nodes voted yes to Donnie becoming the head of the listing committee. One person said no. I guess there's one person out there that just wasn't feeling it. But I think it was pretty much unanimous that Donnie step in. And again, it's the community that is heading that up, the listing itself. It's not us, it's the community. And this governance proposal represents the importance of a vote and a community-run organization, because at the end of the day, that is what a DAO is all about, which of course is governed by our charter, a 60-page document. If you guys have not had a chance yet to read that charter, we definitely would encourage you to do so. All right, so we've got some pretty big things that are happening this week in Florida, and I want to go over to our Chief Marketing Officer, Ivan Kahn, for just a moment. He's been hard at work on continuing to build the brand and to continue to put Trusted Smart Chain into some very, very important and visible, powerful, incredible places. So Ivan Kahn, talk to us, my friend. Talk to me about what's going on in Florida this week.
Hey, thank you, Travis. Hey, good to see everybody. I hope everyone had a great Halloween. So we're not going to stop with October because October was pretty wild, as you all have heard. We're going to hit November. We're going to hit it running. So if anybody is in Florida, we have a lot of events lined up. But I wanted to just recap one of the points that Travis had earlier about it being live on the T7X beta. So all of those, I don't know if you saw, but Travis shared his screen. You saw like the candle, you saw those trades. Those are real life trades, right? These are real people. If anyone's familiar with the industry, these aren't market makers. These are our community trading and assigning a value to the token. So that is huge. There are so many projects which have a token listed and zip, right? Zip. So it's incredible that not only the community is behind this project, but they're participating. My challenge to you is go in there, make a trade, put up a buy order, put up a sell order, just watch it happen. The beauty is it's all inside of a beta, okay? So you see these price fluctuations. It is because the T7X platform is, I think there's like a daily limit. I forget the exact number, but there's a daily limit simply because it is a beta. We're running this as a beta. So yeah, I encourage everyone try it. The moment that trade executes, it feels real, right? All of a sudden that TSC has become worth in dollars. It's real. It's real. It's very real. So everybody take a look at that platform and check it out. Okay, running into November, I don't want to stop that momentum that Travis created. So there's going to be 3 events in Florida. I've been already sharing some of the announcements. It's already in the emails. But the first one, it's at the W Hotel. Actually, let me share my screen. Okay, let's see right here. Okay, can everyone see my screen right here?
Yep.
Thumbs up. Okay. So this is the first event, and I'm very excited about this one. I've been talking about it on some of the breakfast clubs, but the strategy here is to put Trusted Smart Chain among the greats. We want to put Trusted Smart Chain, specifically, it's going to be Matt Nicosia. He's going to be speaking on stage, and we're going to be putting him strategically along these panels, which have companies like Securitize, Polymath, Kinesis Money. If anybody attended one of my webinars this past week, kind of giving the highlights on the industry, Securitize is going to go public through a reverse SPAC. They are in every single headline, all about tokenization. If you haven't seen them on the news, you should definitely look it up. So we're putting Matt on the stage in a very big way. This is going to tell the story of Trusted Smart Chain. We're new on the block, but we are not, we're not new to the industry. We are industry experts. We rub shoulders with the greats. So you can see here, it's at the W Hotel. If anybody's in the area, if you haven't RSVP'd and you want to go, let me know because we are actually fully booked. There are 96 people going. I think there's seats for 60 to 75. So we'll figure it out. There's standing room. It's at the W Hotel. Okay, so if anybody, let me know. So this is happening on the 4th of November, tomorrow. You're going to see the same level of video execution from our guy, Colby. He's going to be at this event. So expect the same sort of storytelling, just like what Travis shared earlier. Okay, these are movers and shakers in the space. We're going to be talking about real world assets 2.0, building the infrastructure of trust. Again, filling in our theme of we are a trusted blockchain. Okay. The second one, actually, I didn't open this up, but it's the Futurist Blockchain Conference. Is from November 5th to 6th. We have a cabana. We are also speaking on the main stage on the topic of real world assets. Again, it's going to be Matt Nicosia. So not only are we going to have our own personal side event on the 4th, nobody else is doing an event on the 4th. So we are literally going to get all the people to come to our event. Then we're also speaking on stage, on the main stage, on the 5th and 6th, and we also have a cabana. So stop by if you're there. Then, I know this is loaded. Then on the 7th and 8th of November, which is like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days right in a row, we're hosting our East Coast launch. So I think Ben is on this call. Amazing work you and your team has been, setting the venue, getting everything set up, but it's going to be an awesome event. It's going to be, I think it's an hour or two away from this event. I'm not sure the exact details. I live in California, so very foreign to me. But it's going to be around the area. It's going to be in Florida. It's going to be Bradenton. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying this wrong. But it's going to be there. That's going to be the one on the 7th. And this is like rooftop on the water. It's going to be a get to know each other. Okay. Think networking, have fun music. There's going to be a live cigar rolling expert there. It's going to be fun. At 6:30 on that day, there's going to be a presentation on Trusted Smart Chain. Okay, West Coast is the best coast. I wouldn't comment on that. I only know one of the coasts. Okay, so moving on. November 8th, it's going to be at one of the very prestigious venues in Sarasota. It's called the Waterworks. Between 1 to 3, and this is going to be like a tier 1, meeting style. Someone's going to be presenting. The assets are going to be presenting. It's everybody that has shown interest on the 7th, they're gonna come and get the full, sit down, the full breakdown on the 8th. Okay. So that one is happening between 1 and 3 at the Waterworks. And that kind of rounds out our events
Mhm.
in Florida, and it's going to be fantastic. Actually, Ben's here. Ben, you want to say a few words?
Yes, absolutely. Well, guys, I'm excited for this launch. I happen to know, I believe the actual mayor of Bradenton, I think is expected to be here. And there are some absolute titans looking at this project, companies of hundreds of millions of dollars that are already intimately buying notes. They're looking at this saying, wow, this is incredible. People are doing this. This is so there is going to be some incredible people at the event. Come out on Friday. Of course, there's going to be live music. Did any of you guys like live music? Live music. There's going to, of course, the cigar rolling. Personally, I think it's bad for your health, but there's going to be cigar rolling, and there's going to be beverages and food, and it's going to be an absolute blast. So if you just like enjoying networking with really great blockchain, traditional business, incredible people, you're not going to want to miss Friday. And then on Saturday, the reality is you're not going to sleep that night because the next day you're going to think, I just can't wait to go to Waterworks, which is a very exclusive private club in Sarasota. If you're from Sarasota, you would know it's a who's who of Sarasota at a big, nice event. And there are going to be some incredible, the real world asset speakers. And there will be a more sit down kind of corporate event there. So it won't be as live music, wild, fire jugglers, etc. I'm just kidding. There's no fire jugglers, but it'll be a little more formal, but exciting. I can't wait to see all of you guys out here on the East Coast.
Thank you, Ben. So it's gonna be a great time. So if anybody's in the area in Florida, let me know. If you haven't already RSVP'd, I'm gonna squeeze you in. And if you do really want to go to the W, I believe there's going to be like 2 drinks for everyone with finger food. So it's fancy. It literally overlooks the water. But at the end of the day, we're executing a strategy where, as you saw from many of these video clips that Travis just shared earlier, we are setting the stage. Okay. We are setting the stage and showing the world that this technology is coming to fruition. We're on the beta, we're trading. We just nominated a team member to help us put on other exchanges. We are go. This is it. Like, we are getting ready. We've been building this infrastructure and the foundation, and I'm lucky to be here to join the fun part, right? Now we're going out, making it big, putting trusted smart chain in the limelight. So that's just the beginning. And November is going to be just as fun as October. More to come. Back to you, Travis.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing that spinning token on your wall being a TSC token in the very near future here. So just throwing that out there. All right. So one of the things that we're really excited about that also happened in the month of October is that we just launched our short-term staking, which is a super cool deal. And true to our philosophy, we didn't want to punish people like some other projects when they go to sell their tokens. Sometimes you notice that there's a tax maybe where you pay a 10% tax or whatever the case might be when you go to sell. And one of the things that I love about Billy is Billy, number one, is brilliant when it comes to tokenomics. And number two, he wanted to have positive reinforcement rather than negative reinforcement. And so what he chose to do is he chose to put this bonus pool together. And how it works is this: 20% of the daily distribution goes into a bonus pool, and those who stake have access to those additional rewards. And it's a great way to be part of something that continues to grow in value and in strength. And this is just phase one. We've got long-term staking coming down the road that's going to add another layer of opportunity and stability to the ecosystem. Steve, I know that I want to bring Steve on for just a moment. Steve has had a tremendous amount of experience when it comes to he's run very successful cryptocurrency projects as a CEO before, understands staking and the power that goes behind it. Talk to me a little bit about staking, and also I want to tie back in our blockchain explorer for a moment here, Steve. So talk to me.
Yeah, man, I tell you, it's very exciting. I was talking with a gentleman today who didn't understand it. In fact, the call was specifically about giving him some understanding. I said, look, it's kind of like this. We've got that 80-20 distribution, and he didn't know what I was talking about. I said, well, if you read the white paper, 80%, the reward you see in your wallet every day, that represents 80% of the distribution. The first 20% of the distribution goes in there to fund that bonus pool that is for staking. And so he found that exciting. I talked about the carrot and the stick to him, like he just did right there. And he understood that completely. And I said, know this. I said, the math on it is this. We issue 71.91 tokens per day, every day for the first 4 years, right? Right. 20% of that goes, the first 20% goes into this bonus pool. That's 1,400 tokens a day. Well, if you do the math on that, you do the how many tokens have been done so far, and roughly what the price is. That's roughly $15 million worth of tokens at current value in this little bonus pool right now. I said it's kind of like this: if you stake, you participate. If you don't, you don't. Okay, and so if there's a you and a person on your left and right, and the person on your left and the person on your right do not stake, and you do, you got a chance to get their 20%. Okay. Now I'm oversimplifying it, and it's not quite the way it works, but conceptually that's the idea behind it. And many of my guys, they've just reached out to me. Steve, did you stake? I said yes. How much? 100%. And so it is an exciting time. And also, let me just throw a little side note out, just like we were all friends here. I'll just share with you a personal story. I got a friend that many of you have heard my story, and I've got a friend that that hit multi-billions twice in the crypto space by mining. Ben knows the guy. And twice I was invited in early. Twice I passed because I didn't understand it. Travis, you know the story. That's when I made the commitment. I'm going to learn this space. Anyway, what he told me was this. He said, Steve, when everybody started selling, I just hung on. The secret for me was just don't sell when everybody else does. And he didn't. And he said, like, I had a bunch of buddies that were all mining Bitcoin in the early days. Every single one of them said, we're going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait. And you know what? When it really started getting serious, and by the way, for him, this number was like 15,000. When it got to like a $15,000 price, he said, everybody else had already sold all their Bitcoin. They were empty, had none. And then he bought his first big mega house, 20 million bucks. He was worth over $1 billion. And so then it was pocket change for him. But the other guys emptied their bank accounts. If I had a word to say to you, gang, it is this. Understand the supply and demand issue. If you understand this project, and by the way, Travis, excellent job communicating the story today and verifying and validating the message. But if you understand where we're headed, and if you understand what 100 real world assets, the 3-year goal, what that does to the impact of this, and you understand the supply and demand about it, you're not going to sell unless you just absolutely have to. Okay. So I'm just, I say, learn about staking, engage with it. And by the way, if you don't understand it yet, just do it. Okay. You don't have to understand everything. You know, you don't understand how your microwave works. And you put your hot dog in, hit 60 seconds, start, and boom, 60 seconds later, you're eating. Okay. So, as it relates to staking, you don't want to sell now anyway. So stake. Okay. Engage in that. By the way, you're going to get your staking rewards every single day once it starts. Okay. It won't show immediately. And then Travis, you and I were talking today about the percentage. And by the way, we're very proud of this number. I think this represents the excellent job we have done educating the community. That starts with you, Travis. I always love what Travis said. He said, you don't mine for today's price, you mine for tomorrow's anticipated value. And Travis, I know you fixed to share a stat. Why don't you go ahead and I'll toss you the ball.
Well, you're you can see right here on the blockchain. That's what's really cool. It's fully transparent. 649,000 total token are currently staked right now, which is a fantastic number. You can see the total supply here. And I believe personally that the reason why it's not higher is just because some people maybe still are confused about it, don't understand it yet. And I want to be very clear. This is my disclaimer. You can do whatever it is that you want. You can sell your token every day. You can hold on to them. You can do whatever it is that you want. Our job is just to educate so that you can make well-informed decisions, and that's what we aim to do. But I love that our blockchain is right here, and we can go and take a look, Steve, and see exactly what that number is, which, by the way, went up from you and then you and I were chatting about it this morning.
Yeah, when we were chatting about it, that's well over 50% right there. When you and I were chatting, it was barely 50%. And so that's exciting. That says our community gets it. They understand. Now, by the way, so you guys understand, we all know what happens when you choke down supply and increase demand. Well, Wait till the real world assets really start pounding this thing, okay? And wait till that forced buying really kicks in. And then wait till, and then when we got that supply choke down, through all the brilliance of it starts with Billy and the whole team over there. By the way, I want to just give kudos to these guys. They are absolutely flipping brilliant when it relates to understanding supply and demand. I'll tell you something else. Sometimes the first guy through the bushes catches the branches, and the next guy through gets to eat the goodies. Okay, and what happens is these guys have gone to school on all these blockchain projects from years gone by. We all bring a little value to the table as it relates to the stories that we know personally. And I think this thing is set up brilliantly. So Travis, back to you, bud. That's everything I know.
Thank you very much. All right, so we are just about at the top of the hour. My goal was to be done here within an hour. So I'm going to close with just this quick thought. You know, I look at everything that we've accomplished together, from Washington, D.C., where we stood among lawmakers and industry titans being recognized as blockchain of the year, to Huntington Beach, where we shared our vision with tens of thousands of people. And it's clear that what we're building is so much bigger than just crypto. Trusted Smart Chain isn't another trend. It's not some other token. It's a movement. It's a mission to bring trust and transparency and real world value back to blockchain. And every one of you, I can see all of you, and I love seeing all of these faces. Every one of you who owns a node is part of that mission. You are not just supporting a network. You're helping build the foundation of something the world desperately needs right now. Accountability, integrity, and opportunity for everyday people. We're not just getting started. With short-term staking now live and long-term staking coming soon, we're creating a system that rewards belief, that rewards patience and participation. And the future belongs to those who see it early and have the courage to stay the course. You see, just about every single person that you know woke up today, they weren't lacking the desire to transform their life. They weren't lacking dreams. They just fail to act on it when everyone else does. They have to wait until there's proof. You know how I know that? Because there's people lining up out the door to go buy Bitcoin at 100,000. Nobody wanted to touch it when it was in the tens of thousands or even less. So the future belongs to those who see it early and have the courage to stay the course. So tonight, let's take a moment to be proud of where we are and even more proud of where we're headed, because history doesn't just happen. It's built literally block by people just like you. And so with that, I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. I speak on behalf of my partners tonight who are traveling, but they send their love and their appreciation. And let's go out. Oh, one last announcement. Prices go up Friday, 5 p.m. We are now at the end of our block, so prices are going up on Friday. So be aware of that. And that should help you move with some urgency this week, because prices are going up to 3,200 at Friday at 5 o'clock. So with that, have a wonderful evening. You guys take care. Thank you so much. God bless.